Hello everybody, Average Gamer here. Welcome to a quick little, or another little video on the PTS. So in this episode, some Q&A answers. You got some Q's, I got a big A. So one of the first questions was asked was is this really going to affect the game? Is this good for the game? A lot of people have asked that. They want to know my opinion on how do I think this is going to positively impact the game? Negatively impact the game, or just change it and end up being the same. I think it's going to be a little bit of two things. Number one, I think some mechs are going to pretty much feel the same, but maybe be a little different. I see some mechs, like for example the Irby and the Atlas, being big time winners in this. I see certain mechs now becoming more viable, because now you can enhance them the way you want to enhance them, and you're laughing at that point. I also think though that it has some negative impacts in regards to the fact that everyone's now reset. Everyone's got to sit back and basically do a lot of homework, a lot of math, and a lot of realization of to figure out what the hell they want to do and how they're going to do it. So any new player that's stepping in, they're being thrown a lot of stuff at them, right? So it's going to be a bit of a hassle. It's going to be quite the daunting task for a seasoned player to step through into the mirror, so to speak, and go on into the next stage of the skill tree. A new player who say was just getting used to the old tree and now has to deal with the next one, the newer one instead of the old one. They're going to be just completely overwhelmed. So, things like that, I'm not too happy about. Some people were asking about quirks. There's a big nerf to IS. Technically, no. There were a lot of builds got quote unquote quirk reductions or enhancement modifications. What I'm going to tell you now is this. The reason why they did it on a lot of them, or at least this is the reason why I'm thinking, just because I looked at a random, as you can see, a whole bunch of, I went through my favorites list here of all these guys, picked random mechs, and looked to see what they did to them. And in the end, I realized a couple things. Number one, the mechs they modified are usually mechs that are classified as metas, or the meta mechs that people definitely pilot a lot more, or pilot a lot less. A lot of the modifications were offensive only, and that's it. And even then, there was a couple big removals, and then a couple big. There was no additions though. It was all reductions associated with offense on both sides, clan and IS. Now, with this skill system, some mechs are actually going to be better than they were prior to the skill change, and other mechs will now be, instead of really awesome, they'll be pretty average. They'll be good. Some mechs that I will mention that I think are going to have a big push into the limelight now: Kintaros, Wolverines, Phoenix Hawks, not Phoenix Hawks, Shadowhawks, Huntsman. I think is going to make a good resurgence. Centurions, I think, are going to do pretty good. The Summoner's already really good. There was one specific, Urban Mech. I think you're going to start seeing a lot of those. Atlases are going to take a big boost with those armor and structure quirks that you can now get. And what I think is going to be the biggest winner is the Trebuchet. You are probably going to be seeing a lot of these guys out there. So that was another question. Another one. Sorry, I'm just looking at my list of questions asked here. There's so many. For the record, there were so many questions. First off, I have to say thank you to all the people who commented on the videos and stuff like that. I appreciate people's feedback and comments and all that stuff about. I have 666 subscribers. People that are near and dear to the game themselves, and they want to play the game, they love the game, and they want some answers. They want to do good. Some people want to know if each mech / class has a limit points to spend. They do. Every mech in the skill tree has a maximum skill point we'll say expenditure of 91. So you can spend 91 points on anything on this list you want, as long as obviously you have it. Like here we have no jump jets, so it's grayed out. It even will tell you how much you can afford with your XP and GXP. Someone also asked how you transfer over your old XP to your new mech. It's right here. So right here we have our 67,958 from our old mech. So 67,958. So we're now moving over all our old GXP that was on this mech onto the mech now. So theoretically, going out after you've utilized this historic XP, this is also their good way of showing you, the player, that you got all your XP back, your GXP back, all your XP back. Sorry, but now you can see with my XP, I can unlock 45 modules if I want to, or if I use the GXP I have, I can unlock 91. Pretty simple, actually. I like that. Another question. Different points. Oh, the firepower. Okay. Sorry. Second half of the question was also: is there a limited amount you can spend per section? For example, is there a maximum you can spend on ballistic? Is there a max you can spend on energy or missile? No. You can pretty much spend them all if you wanted to on all the ballistics. Basically, as long as you have a weapon. Say we had some medium lasers on this thing, we could max out the laser, no problem. There's no cap. There's just 60 overall you can unlock for energy. You're not going to obviously do them all because you're not going to have, PPCs, pulse lasers, and lasers, right? You're not going to have like a large laser, a medium pulse, and then a PPC on a mech. You're probably going to have a couple medium pulse maybe and a PPC, or maybe a PPC and some medium lasers. So that one over here, maybe some medium pulse and large pulse. So you just need the one there. So overall, basically, it's solely up to you. And I'll actually select a mech here that has a whole bunch of stuff already done. I previously prepared a mech. What are the odds of that, eh? Heavy, Sumner. Boom. Skills. So you'll see in a lot of these, I maxed out the PPC thing here. For example, the defensive didn't use everything. Didn't have to use AMS overload and dropped and just dodged fall damage right there. Kind of went around it. For lower chassis, for some stuff, did all that. Jump jets, did all that. Mech operations for heat containment and stuff like that, did some stuff over here. For sensors, did some stuff over here. And the auxiliary, did some stuff there. Didn't quite get to the better heat containment and all that stuff on this guy, which I would have preferred him to be a little bit more heat efficient, but I took some other directions. But overall, still spend 91 in however you want, which is really, really good. Next. Select the Atlas and Highlander. Do they still have tank quirk ability bonuses? Yeah, so earlier, as I mentioned, all mechs, when it comes to their quirks, it was they're all keeping their structure if they have them, and armor quirks that they have them. When does skill tree come out? As I've mentioned, 21st of the month. That is for a different game. This is about... So, some people, I'm looking at, there's about 5 comments, both personal, like private comments, directly to the channel and to people, and logos about. It's an IS nerf, basically, to let, to counter everything. And I'm thinking, well, no, because we gotta remember, right? Because there's about 6 people that messaged me about this. I think it's the most out of anything. So yes, the Inner Sphere got nerfed when it comes to quirks, but with the new skill system, their skills are also better. Okay, so for example, PPC velocity 4, 0.8, 0.8, 0.8 for cooldown. PPC velocity is 4. Range is 2 and all that stuff. If I selected the Rifleman and go to skills. Oh, I got the wrong mech selected here. Go to Rifleman. There we go. You'll notice immediately PPC cooldown is a lot better. Velocity is the same. Heat is a lot better. So, yes, the Inner Sphere did get a reduction in offensive quirks. So did the clans. But now the clans don't actually get an equal return basically per skill point. So that something that's 0.1, that's 1% for the inner sphere, might actually be 0.8, for example, for the clans. I'm actually going to go and do a breakdown right now, real quick, as to what it's going to be. Now, mind you, this is a rolling, change. So, for example, for in the inner sphere tables for AC cooldown, it's 1% cooldown per node for the inner sphere, but it's 0.8 for the clan. UX and LBX cooldowns and GOS cooldowns all the same. For every node that you get, up to 5 nodes, obviously, is 1%. So you get up to 5% for the inner sphere, for example. So 5% for the inner sphere, which is quite the thing, right? 5% on, say, Gauss cooldown is pretty big. Now, if you do the 0.8, that's 4%. So there's a whole percent difference for Gauss cooldown on the base node system. So on that, the inner sphere then has the advantage of that plus 1%. Now, mind you, there's also the weapon differences and things like that offset things. But that's just ballistic cooldowns, for example. The next one is lasers. So, for example, for laser range, for every node, it's 2% for the inner sphere, and it's 1.6 for the clans. So it's 10% dual max, 10% range increase for the inner sphere, while the clans get an 8%, 2% difference. There's a 5% laser cooldown, sorry, a 1% laser cooldown per node, or 5% total laser cooldown for the inner sphere, and a 0.8 or 4% cooldown for the clans. Same with laser heat as well. Laser duration is 3% for the inner sphere and 2% for the clan. So as you can see, what they've done is they've reduced a lot of the overall inherent offensive quirks, but then internally to the game itself, for these skills, they've also then offset it and off-weighted a little bit in the back end. So this is their one of their first, I'm going to call one of their first phases, one of the first waves. Remember, one of the things they've said is this is going to take several months. This isn't just a one pass, one thing, that's it. It's going to be multiple passes and multiple different things. But yeah, that's most of the cues that we've got. Other ones were just what's going to happen with XP and GXP and all that stuff. GXP is just going to go back into your regular pool. XP is going to be set up like this thing here. It's going to be set up as your historic XP. So this way, if you have more than one mech, you can split it between the two mechs. So if I had 2 legendary killers, both of them would have 12,325 experience in a pool that I would then have to separate, either half and half, like 6,000 and 6,000, or give all to one and the other one gets, pooched. Another thing that I like about this is, since it's historical, you don't have to spend it. You don't have to transfer it right away. You can actually sit on it for a while. You almost look at it as a bank. Something you're storing up for a rainy day if your regular XP's out. That's what I'm probably thinking of maybe doing. I don't know yet. I might just be using overall XP maybe for the first few mechs and then kind of going from there. Some people were asking about C-bill returns and how the refund policy is going to work. Basically, the refunds are going to work. Wow, my desktop audio is like not recording anything. I'm going to have to fix that. Basically, the way the refunds are going to work is simple. At the back end, the server will scan on the time of the patch, obviously while the system's down. It's going to scan your account and see what modules are in your account. It knows what modules are in your account. You know what modules are in your account. There's a list on the back end, on a spreadsheet somewhere. Spreadsheet Warrior Online, remember? So there's it scans your account and sees that you have X amount of modules. It sees what modules you have, and then it cross-references those with the cost or the price of said modules, and then gives you that money back. So however many modules you get your money back. If you had the special limited edition modules from Clan Wave 1, I think it was the pre-order, They're giving $1 million above the retail price that's available in the game at the moment. So if, I think Seismic was one. I can't remember if Seismic was one. But say one of them was worth 3 million in the store itself, it then becomes worth 4 million. Another question was what is going to happen with the supply caches? What's going to replace them? And the answer is, from the sounds of it, it might be a placeholder. I don't know, but it looks like and sounds like it's going to be decals or decals or stickers, depending on what angle you want to look at that. Overall, that's a bunch of questions that I've had. There obviously was the odd, stupid one. like, do they not realize this is going to ruin the game? It's like, well, that's not a question. That's more of a statement. Some people are asking me on my own personal opinion. I'm just going to say this right now. I think they hit it out of the park. I think it's about time they did something right and did something really, really good. I think this will have a good, long-standing, positive impact. And I will say this now. I think, there's going to be the obvious rough road ahead for the next month or two while they polish and tweak things here and there. I feel as though come April, there will probably be a massive reset for everybody. Like they'll say it's a reset weekend where you can reset any mech for for free that you want to respec, which I think is going to probably going to happen. I also think for the mechs that are coming out that have the 3060 plus timeline, when those mechs come out, they might have a different skill tree. Maybe a 3060 skill tree. So we might actually finally have 2 skill trees and 2 batches of mechs, maybe. I don't know. Or they'll have something extra, something different. Maybe they'll have an extra column, an extra option to pick. Or one less option in another. Who knows? But overall, I think it's pretty good. I think they definitely hit it out of the park on this one. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.